Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target morning brief where we invest with fighter pilot precision every day. Couple of announcements. First of all, huge playoff game tonight for Round Rock High School, and one of our squadron members is going to play in that. So good luck out there. Proud of you guys. Great season. Go out there and take it to Lake Travis. That's going to be a great game. I will be listening or watching if it's on TV. I haven't looked, but my daughter will also be there in person. So right there at Dragon Stadium. So secondly, I will be at a deployed location next week. So the screens will look a little bit different. I won't be able to do quite as much as I normally do, but I'll be operating off of one screen. But just know that I'm at a cool place next week. So and I'll share some of that out with you in the morning once I'm there. So with that, what are we going to talk about today? I've been promising all week long we'll talk about Bitcoin, so we will do that. We will also give you an update on the crazy IPO market that's been going on today going on this week with the DoorDash coming out Wednesday and then Airbnb yesterday. Both of them basically doubled at the open. What's going on? It's kind of crazy. Money's flowing like wine around here, and everybody's making money. So with that, today we're going to have a little bit of a hangover. I think that's why you'll see the futures in the red, but we'll go from there. All right, let's go ahead and get the program started. All right, here we go. Make sure you have your chat window open as well as your Q&A window open this morning. Standard disclaimer applies. We are going to get this set up here. This is a financial education presentation, so you have to do your own due diligence before you act upon anything that we talk about this morning. And if you will need full disclaimer information, it's available at ototnow.com. All right, welcome to Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Big day coming up like I talked about. I'm excited for today and hope many of you are as well. All right, our mission objectives, we're going to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Specifically, today we're going to talk more about protecting our money. And you're like, you've got to be kidding me. Did you just say Bitcoin and protecting our money in the same sentence? And I, in fact, did. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin investing and why you would want to do it, which I will say the best explanation I can have for this thing is it is a digital version of gold. It is a storage of value. It's not something you would transact in like dollar bills, y'all, or something that you would even really do that much trading in. It's simply something you acquire. You hope for an appreciation over time, and you can allocate up to, I would generally say, 10% of your portfolio to things like gold and Bitcoin. We're going to talk, and then question of the day at the end, I'll wax prophetically a little bit about what is Bitcoin, what I know about it. I still think there's probably a 90% mystery out there, but I'll tell you what I know, and again, hopefully we'll populate with some questions while I'm doing that, because I know you have questions out there. All right, tactical objectives we just talked about for our flow. We're going to do a long, short, open, short, long. We're going to start with our market review and headline review, again, dominated by IPOs and vaccine stuff with a little bit of, are we going to get some stimulus anytime soon sprinkled in? Then we'll get into the long-term investments, which are the Greystone Bitcoin ETF. Then you have blockchain, you have a couple innovation ETFs, and then you notice Square and PayPal are on that list. They've gotten into the Bitcoin business where they recognize it. And if they're in, that's legitimized. So that's kind of the big deal and why it's been hot lately, in my opinion. From there, we'll get into our short-term execution and get a trade if we can, and end up with our questions of the day. If you have any contingencies, thanks for reaching out this morning. For the one person who had trouble getting in, glad to see you in the room. Welcome aboard. Let's give you there, I just hit the chat up with the overview of the day for you. All right, let's go ahead and take a look around the world, the TD Ameritrade platform. And I like having this up just in case, as you see in the chat there, the screens are going to be set up with INSG, CVAC, and then SRG is how when we get to that portion. So you can get a quick look there. All right, for our long-term market review, again, we had the big climb up after the dip there, the basically V-shaped recovery, congestion into the election. And what are we going to do now to the end of the year? Well, it's kind of a big pause, in my opinion. I keep saying that we're going to have a negative day and the market fights right back, it seems. It goes right back higher. But we're down a little bit from yesterday and then trending down today as well. So when you look at the 5-day, screen just disappeared here. There we go. The 5-day, excuse me, get rid of workhorse, go into the SPY. So here's our trend. This was Wednesday. Yesterday, basically kind of flatlining across the board, and then big hit in the morning. But look what's happening. People are waking up and getting excited and fired up for their Friday, like I am. And you know what? You buy things when you're fired up, right? So maybe we make all this back and go in the green today. Kind of crazy. All right, that's what we have. Let's go ahead and take a look at the futures now. Go over to cnbc.com. I'll do a quick refresh for you here and up to the top of the list. What do we got? So Dow down 0.5%, future S&P down 2/3, NASDAQ somewhere in between the two. So yeah, there's some selling going off there. You got the names on the move. Disney, which we'll talk about. You could take Disney long today for a day trade. Actually, it's on my list up there. I don't know if it has enough upside, but Qualcomm took a little bit of a hit. Apple is getting into the chip game, it seems. NEO has a secondary offering. Lululemon's down 1%, but they have they just approved this huge stock buyback. So it's on the move as well. All right, let's take a look at Asia. Asia off, what should be Europe first. They switched. Europe down. So again, that's going to give us our negatives. That's probably why we were down so much at our open. And then we've got a little more positivity going on. As you see, Asia is mixed, not much to worry about there. Again, bonds, not much going on in that world. Oil, weekly gain up at 46, so we like that. Gold and silver creeping up just a little bit, and then overdue Bitcoin, Bitcoin below 18,000. So remember, it's at 20,000 is kind of that resistance. So it'll run up to that, kind of sell off, run up to that and sell off. So we'll see long term where Bitcoin goes now that we are following it. All right. Let's talk about some headlines as I clicked on the wrong link here for a couple seconds. All right, Disney had Investor Day yesterday, had a whole bunch of announcements, which I'm not going to cover here. But, they're in the streaming business. They own ESPN. They own the theme parks, all of the toys and dolls at the Disney store. I mean, they have big movies, not as many as they used to, right? Because it's hard to make movies these days. But they have a lot going on, a lot of ways to win. I've always thought that they should spin off ESPN, which is actually a money loser for them. And ESPN should be its own company, but they don't agree. So they're not doing it. But they're doing pretty well. Other headlines, 112% in Airbnb. ABNB is the actual ticker. Don't buy Dash or ABNB here. Let them come in. There's going to be a lot of profit taking. They're all down this morning. And you can see those things sell off, 15, 20% just from profit taking. Right? Because everybody's up. So don't be the fool that buys in at the top and then becomes the only guy that's invested in Airbnb that is down money. It happens a lot, more often than it should. So don't be too excited to get to hop in on things with the fear of missing out. All right. Vaccine stuff, pregnant women, kids, they've been talk about the 16 and up as far as the age for vaccination. You're not going to need to do it below that. I don't know, we'll see. I think we're going to learn a lot as the vaccine rolls out, not only just here in the United States but across the board. So we'll see. All right, buying little kids things like toys can make them happier. What kind of genius put this at the top of CNBC? That's the no crap headline of the day, everybody. Yeah, buy your kids stuff and they'll love you. Or for Christmas, you can do what our family does and kind of, a couple of things to play with, and the rest goes into investing accounts. Yeah, right? That's what leads you to where we are today. So do that instead of just buying stuff, even though, yes, stuff makes you happy. Who cares? Be happy being rich. All right. Tesla coming up, their entry into the S&P 500, that's on board. That may cause some volatility. Yeah, I do agree with that. All right, AMC trying to get out of, avoid bankruptcy, if you will. I'm not sure everybody's going to rush back to theaters out of all this, so I would not throw money at it. Now, if you want to take these contrarian plays, airlines is not a bad way. People are going to do that. I don't know if people are going to cruise. I don't know if people are going to go to movie theaters, but they will fly because there's not only the recreation, there's a business piece of that. We still need to do some things face to face. You can also get into restaurants if you focus on like Dave and Buster's. I think will come back in a big way because people miss it. And even though it's very expensive, it's kind of addictive to go play the awesome video games, right? That's more of the video gaming for the 21 and up crowd that can hit the bar while they're there. So pretty decent business model. Same with Top Golf, but that's owned by Callaway Golf. ELY is the ticker on that. Price of silver could double, sure. And it could get cut in half. Stay out of commodities. That's why I don't get in it. All right. So let's go to talk about some Bitcoin stuff. And we're going to, that's not the right one. There we go. So there, if you want to own it, you can go to Coin Wallet and buy some Bitcoin and don't lose your password. And you've probably heard all those stories. So, I mean, if you want to own it, you can go own it in a pure form. So the things I'm telling you today are the, still see the morning brief page. That'd be on you. It's actually sharing out correctly there, Burner. So the as far as the Bitcoin, these are kind of derivative ways to play. Like I want to do this in my brokerage account and not necessarily in the space of going to get a coin wallet thing and going through that drill. So there's Greystone, Blackstone, the Greystone Bitcoin Trust, which we'll talk about on another screen. FinViz doesn't have them, so that's not what we're not going to talk about here. But if you want to get into the technology behind Bitcoin, again, blockchain is really what your best play there, which is the Amplify Transformational Data Sharing ETF, which it doesn't own Bitcoin outright, but it does own everything around it. So more of a derivative play. You can see that it's been on fire. It loosely travels with the price of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin gets hit, then it's not a bad time to buy in. But it's also transformational stuff. So it's kind of a long-term buy and hold. I was in it at the beginning. I was probably that guy that bought it there and it started selling off. And I'm like, okay, I'm back out. I have a different one that I like, and I will share that with you now over on Schwab. So let's take a look at Schwab. Okay, in the upper left, you have, this is that Greystone, GBTC is what everybody calls it. So if you want to get into an ETF for Bitcoin, go into this. You pay about a 35% premium to do that. And you're like, ooh, I don't want to do that. Well, I'm warming to this idea because you've always paid a 35% premium to get into it. But you're also getting your 35% back for the next fool that pays the 35% premium to get into it. So literally the history of this thing, it's always had that 35% premium. So if everybody's paying the same premium, you can kind of get out in and back out at the same level, as long as there's other people that continue to pay the premium. And so far there have been. So when you look at that chart, nice run up to 25 there. This is one of these that I tell you, if you're younger and you want to throw $100 at this thing, put $100 in. Buy 4 shares, sit on it. Don't be in any hurry to sell it. Just wait and see what happens. BLOK, excuse me, is the one I talked about in the upper right. That's the chart we just looked at. That's the transformational data sharing ETF. Another innovation ETF is this ARKK. I will tell you, this thing can't miss. It's got not only Bitcoin and AI related stuff, but it has Tesla, NIO, Lee, all these EV names. Now it may come crashing back down. I can't say it's going to go up forever, but so far it has gone up forever. I mean, look at the move in this 33 up to 125. Bam. Nice shot, bro. All right. ROBT. That's an AI fund that I use pretty heavily across the board for almost everybody out there. I like it. Again, a little lower price point, and it's diversified a little more, where ARKK is kind of focused on, the latest hot names. So this is an option I like. Again, ROBT. If you want to get into the money business, Square and PayPal are pretty good ways to do it. I don't generally have those unless a client wants them, because I'd rather have Blackstone. I'd rather be in the private equity side of things, which is ticker BX. But certainly, since Square and PayPal have now said that we will accept and track Bitcoin, that gives Bitcoin a legitimacy it never really had before that. Okay, all right, let's take a look at some trading names here. First of all, on the long side, we have INSG. Come on. INSG. Okay, they're expanding into Japan. I don't follow these guys in Seago Corp at all, but it's got the volume and it meets our numbers like exactly. So that's why it's going to be our number one long. It's going to be a mathematic setup. We'll generally use probably a 20-cent stop and we'll be in or out. So pretty quick. So again, not a whole lot to go off of there. If you'd rather a more stable long, you can go into Disney, gapping up. It closed here at 154. It's gapping all the way up to 167. If you take that trade though, you're looking like a $1.50 stop, and you have to think this thing's going to end up in the mid 170s. I just think that's too optimistic to trade, if you will. So that's why I'm not taking Disney long here. Okay, let's look at our shorts. We have a company where the CFO up and resigned, which is lawsuits, CFO is resigning, whiffing earnings, big downgrades. Those are things we look for and love. So Seritage Growth Properties, don't know what they do, don't know about the CFO and why he resigned. But the fact is, CEO resigns. It's down here. If you can see the very small print, I was trying to highlight it and I cannot. CEO resigns. So again, they were at 17 is where they closed. They're gapping down to 1590, which is here. Plenty of a little low on volume, so we have to wait for it. But continuing on down, could easily go below the 1550 level. So has the legs for it. And then the other one, which does have the volume, is CVAC. Basically, we don't have the storyline on that either, but it was at 28 and gapping down to 119, almost the volume there. But I love this chart as far as a reason to drop there. So those are our two shorts. And again, if they don't set up, we aren't going to take them, but looking to get in there hopefully. All right, let's go ahead and start setting up for those. Over with TD Ameritrade, which is coming to you now. All right, that left, again, we have the SPY right there. Here's our INSG. Again, that's a long. We're looking at probably 15 cents, maybe 10 cents if we can get an entry into this long. CVAC, we have the drop there, and then we have the CEO resigning over here at SRG. You can see that's pretty thin. We need to back out a little bit there. There we go in SRG. So again, we'll have to be patient, wait for that to set up. So I'm setting my tickers up for the SRG, but we'll see. We may or may not get an entry there. Okay, let's get things typed in here. Okay, all set up for myself. Okay. All right, welcome everyone to the On Time On Target play of the day. We have 30 seconds to the open. You see 4 screens in front of you. You have the SPY on the left. That's the S&P 500. You see there's a nice big trend up here going into the open. Even though the futures in the red, we're trending higher. We have one long, which is INSG, set up here in this middle left pane. That's the arrow right there that shows you that. CVAC and SRG short. They're both kind of low volume, so you have to be kind of patient. So with that, here we go. Okay, these two are both heart of the envelope shorts. This would have to be $1.50 in CVAC. This is backing up higher, so that can be good for the entry point. Kind of volume we got 70,000 on that initial bar, so I like how this is backing up. So we got a high of the day. We would need to cover up to 1610. Let's take SRG short at 16. We'll chase it higher here if we have it, if we need to. INSG taking off. Yep, let's go 1605 for our entry point at SRG. There's our entry point. Actually, hold on for a second. Hold up. It's going to be a 15-cent stop here. it ticks higher, I'm going to take it at 16.10. I'm waiting for kind of the next one here. Okay. 16.10. Yep. Let's take it here. You're going to use a 10-cent stop up to 16.20. All right, there we go. And again, we have the arrow down. So our trade, our 1 hour point is 16 even. The 2 hour point is 15.9, where there was a lot of congestion here on the downside. Come on. And then if it falls back there, our 3 hour point is 15.8. If it hits right down to that 15.8 here in the first few minutes, I'm going to keep a third of it. So divide what you have by 3 and just keep it and let the rest sell off for the rest of the day. So pretty good entry point here at 16.10. We're already at the 2 hour point. Okay, get ready for your, I know my tickers now. Get ready to buy it back. There we go. All right, almost at the exit point there. Got darn close. So just hold on to this. Again, we entered at 16.10. We're at the 2 hour point. Wait for it to hit 15.8. I'm selling 2/3. I'm going to hold the rest probably all day long. All right, so we're waiting for that. Let's see. CVAC backed up. Again, this was up. There it is. So we're out. Hold on. Whoa, we made a lot more. All right, out of 2/3 there. Ooh, got a nice exit on that. So again, we're at the 3 hour point. So again, this is our check mark of justice. I'm keeping 1/3 of my shares and holding it on from there. So again, we entered at 16.10. We have 1, 2, 3 times our money right there. You could exit with all of it if you wanted. This did go down to, what did it touch at the 5 hour point? I did not get that exit, but I was pretty happy with my exit here. And come on. And I'll tell you what to do with this trade for the rest of the shares. Again, CEO resigned, so that's why I have confidence I can hold this all day long. Not a lot of people are buying into a stock where the CEO resigns. All right, this thing is not going. There we go. Okay, so we are at the 4 hour point right now. So with the rest of your shares, this was our entry point. So what I would recommend, if you kept any, and if you bailed on it, that's fine. But if you kept any, I would take it right to our take it to the 1 hour point. So put instead of the upper limit being 16.2, bring it all the way to 16. So that way, if 1/3 of those shares come back up and touch 16, then you'll be stopped out of it. So for the 2/3 of the shares, you got whatever exit you got here, which was at least 3x your money. And then for the other remaining shares, you're going to make 1 R no matter what, and you could possibly make more as this thing continues to sell off. So anyhow, kind of a textbook short there. Very pleased with that. Out of 2/3 of the trade at the 5-minute point, and with money still being made there. And this right here is the 4 hour point. So cool. All right, we'll check back on that. Let's see what else is going on in the real world for the investments. Got INSG. It would have been tough to make money. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to enter right away. That would have been a dart throw. Let's take a look at Disney long. Did not continue long. So any attempts at taking Disney long here would have burned you. Other stuff, Blue Apron beat earnings. For those guys, and competitor to DoorDash, if you will. So they're up 5% on the day, and kind of trading sideways. Not a whole lot of motion there. Let's see, NX, which I'm not familiar, was up 5% today. Pre-market, here's where it was pre-market, kind of dropped down, so nothing going on there. Kiwi, QIWI, don't know what they are. Obviously, it's a foreign firm. They were gapping up earlier. They're selling off, so it's not a bad entry point. When you look at things that drop off and then stabilize for a while and then start back long, but I don't know what they do. So that's why I didn't take it. And then INSG, we already talked about. Okay, short, we have SRG, which worked. We have CVAC, which did not work. And the other one we're going to talk, that I don't know if I mentioned to you, but NEO had a secondary offering. So they were down, let's see, probably would have been around 7% or so. So people are going to be buying NEO. So I don't think, even though they're putting secondaries out there, I don't think they're going to go. I don't think that sells off. Okay. All right, let's start backing back out to the big picture stuff. Here's our trade. Excuse me. Here's the overall market. Started off green, now starting to sell off as some profit takings going on. We have the NASDAQ down 2/3, SPY down 0.5%, and Dow down 0.4. We'll go ahead and check out let's start with the positive. So Disney up 7%. Revive Therapeutics, that was a penny stock we talked about yesterday. So again, if you're up for a little more risk and you believe that psychedelics, i.e. think LSD and drugs, stuff that was illegal, and really, really bad news. Well, now they're starting to try to focus that again on mental health, anxiety, a medicinal application of it, not recreational. But I don't know. We've got a chunk of it now, so we'll kind of sit back and see. It moves all over the place. So if you do buy some of this, just you have to chuckle when it's up or down 20% on a day. If that's going to affect you or make you lose sleep, do not buy this. Palantir up nicely, 3.3%. That's cool. Moderna, you know how Pfizer and Moderna are your Pfizer, Moderna, and BioNTech are your kind of vaccine plays. All right, if you the special purpose acquisition companies, PSTH. Again, that's Bill Ackman's out there. There's another one that went public today, is FIII. It was up 20% earlier. And this was the Forum Merger 3 Corp. Again, IPO'd, kind of direct listed up here. It's up 20% as part of a electric vehicle last mile stuff. So kind of similar to Workhorse, if you've heard me talk about Workhorse. So I may get into this thing. We shall see. It's not really moving. Don't know. So anyhow, that's FIII is what I'm going to take a look at. Okay. Northwest Bio, I just saw it bouncing around. There's another name we talked about yesterday. Another SPAC, again, special purpose acquisition company, is Supernova. So SNPV/U or .U when you're trying to enter your order. That's another way to get in on the SPAC game. All right, let's look at some losers out there. Laser is Luminar. Remember, this was on fire. It basically doubled after the SPAC, and then look at it. It's been kind of selling off. So here's why you don't chase things, kids. It's down here at 26, and it goes up, and you're like, huh, okay. Then it goes raging up the next day, and you're like, huh. Well, if this ever comes in, I'll buy some. And then it rages higher yet that day. And then it goes up here and you're like, okay, I'm going to buy some. And then watch it, turn your money down by 2/3. So be patient. I think there's going to be an entry for Laser, but I'm not sure it's today, but I am definitely putting that on a top watch list. Okay. Qualcomm receiving some competition out there. I still like the name, and it's moved up significantly. Asana's been on fire, so no problem selling off there. Haven't talked about Nikola in a while. They've been kind of out of the news now that they blew their relationship with GM. There's your BioNTechs we talked about, and then Luckin down a little bit, even though it's been up lately. So, all right, that's what I've got overall for the market. Let's look back at the trade one more time. Okay, down here at the 5R point, looks like it touched 6R briefly. So here with your, I have a chunk of this still. I'm just going to let it go until I finish up here, but I will probably move mine down to like 15.8 or so with my remaining chunk. So again, 16.1 was the entry, 15.8 was the 3R point. So even if it backs up, I'm still getting 3R out of my remaining shares. All right, let's go to get rid of my trading account. You don't need to see that. Okay. Back on video here and sharing out to talk some Bitcoin stuff again. Okay, so what is Bitcoin? Obviously, it's a digital currency. When it first came out, people were worried it wasn't backed by government, and I got that. That's what I was worried about. However, it is legitimate. It's been around long enough to be fully accepted. But the use of it is kind of curious as far as people did transact in it initially when it was at $20. You've heard the story of the guy in San Francisco that bought a pizza with a Bitcoin. Yeah, $20,000 mistake or whatever. So it's has not been a transacting sort of currency. So transact in dollars, but if you want to store some long-term value, then you can hop into this thing. Again, no physical Bitcoin. So if somebody's trying to sell you one, you can chuckle and go, nope, that's no, sir, or no, ma'am. That is not how that works. And I know that. All right, there's a big blockchain out there that validates all of the, excuse me, Bitcoin transactions, but it does it anonymously. So the transaction becomes history and it's permanently trackable. And each Bitcoin has, of course, a serial number type thing associated to it. So you can see how it moves. You just can't see who it's tied to. It's tied to another number, right? So it's only anonymous because that number is not tied to you. But I will say that as this thing gets taxed, it's it is tied to you eventually because it's tied to your social security number and you're going to pay taxes on all your gains. So, excuse me. There, thanks, Burner. It's funny. He just sent me a picture of his Bitcoin. Yeah, hopefully he didn't pay 20 or 18,000 for that. That's too funny. All right. So it's really not legal tender. If it is legal tender, you can transact in anything, but we'll see. It's the world's largest, so you don't have to use Bitcoin. Or there's Ethereum, there's Ripple, which is XRP. There's people that just go in and buy all the coins. It's like, okay, there's a lot of hope and faith there. I don't think they all survive. Facebook again came out with its Libra coin, which largely failed. They're going to rename it in 2021 and re-release it as something else. Dinar, maybe. I can't remember. Dina, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But there will be an option there. I don't know. I think probably it's still going to be a Bitcoin only world. So stay best of breed, just like you do with your stocks. Stay best of breed if you're going to get in the coin world, and just own some Bitcoin and hold on to it and see what happens. All right. There's only a limited amount. I think it's either 19 million or 20 million that are ever going to be mined. But as they're mined, each year it's on a cycle where only half as many as the year before can get mined. So even though the majority of it's been mined, it would still be being mined kind of forever because you can't, it's the old math equation of if you only go halfway if you're standing in front of a doorway that's 4 feet away and you go halfway each time, you never technically get there. Technically. Right. So it's going to eventually be, where there's only a very few produced. So that's why the Winklevoss twins are on CNBC a while ago saying this thing's going to 500,000. I don't see that. It could, sure. I think there's a craze associated with it. And I think people are starting to pile into it. So as far as an entry point, I still think we're probably early. I could see the thing being up over 100,000 easy at some point in time in the future. And then, who knows? Maybe it comes crashing back down. We shall see. All right. How it began, you can read the history, the name behind it. You can watch videos. Videos are pretty good explaining this. The risk. Regulatory oversight. So you see, SEC, FINRA, CFPB, those are things to save you from losing your butt investing, but nothing can save you if you are intent on losing money. They can't do everything for you. But certainly they don't really have the regulations in place that they do for like shares of stock and bonds. And there is protection out there if these companies screw you over, basically. You can, maybe get some of your money back or that sort of thing. But yeah, there's really not that level of oversight, and the SEC is learning as well. So literally, when you think of it, and not to offend anybody out there, but this is literally old people trying to figure out how to regulate a very new people type of thing. So I don't think it's probably going to be easy for them to regulate it, and it may not even be smart, whatever they come up with. But we'll see. That's the regulatory risk. Security risk. Yeah, you're in a paper wallet and don't lose digital wallet, versus a paper wallet. So in a digital wallet, I've heard cases where people are, the spouse bought it and dies and didn't write the password down, and now the other spouse can't get it, and everybody's like, well, how do I do this? And the lawyers are like, well, you got to find that password or be a really good guesser, or it's gone. Could you imagine having half your net worth in this stuff, and then you get hit by a truck and you didn't write your password down, your spouse doesn't know where it is, nobody else knows where it is, your lawyer, doctor, nobody, right? So if you're going to get into this, get a safety deposit box, clearly write down your password and put it somewhere safe, not in your house, so when the house burns down with you in it, you don't lose everything, right? So you got to be kind of smart about these sort of things. Okay. Fraud, yeah, there have been plenty of hacks. They said it's not hackable. Anything where you say it's not hackable, just what does that do? That fires up the hackers for the weekend, right? It's like, aha, If we can hack FireEye, we can hack Bitcoin, and people have, and people lost a bunch of money, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So, all right, that is all I have for today. So good talk, everybody. I want you to have a good weekend. Go round rock tonight, and we will catch you guys on Monday. Talk to you soon.